Hi, I'm Mike Tenney, and today we're talking about something most families don't consider, the hidden cost of public schooling. This isn't about tuition, it's about something deeper, something long-term, something that could shape your child's future more than any dollar amount ever could. Public school, it's free, right? That's the default choice for most families. But here's the real question. What are we actually trading for that free education? Let's start with something we rarely question: time. Most students spend at least 7 hours a day at school. But how much of that time is truly used for focused learning? Between classroom transitions, announcements, behavioral management, testing windows, and assemblies, it adds up. Some studies estimate that only 2 or 3 hours per day are devoted to real instruction. So, if your child is capable of learning more, faster, deeper, and with more engagement, why aren't they? That brings us to the first hidden cost: the system built for another era. Public education as we know it was developed during the Industrial Revolution, a time when we needed to produce factory-ready workers through standardized routines. That system, lecture-based, one-size-fits-all, age-grouped, made sense then. But we're not in the 1800s anymore. The modern world requires adaptability, critical thinking, and creativity. And yet we're still using a model designed for uniformity and control. The second hidden cost: one-size-fits-all learning. To serve a broad population, public schools aim for inclusivity, but that often means instruction is aimed below average to make sure as many students as possible can keep up. Here's the problem: no child is truly average in every area. Your student might be advanced in one area, struggling in another. They might learn visually or through hands-on practice, or need extra time to process. But in most public schools, the pace stays the same for everyone. When a student doesn't fit that mold, they just get bored or frustrated. They start to doubt their ability, or worse, lose interest entirely. Now let's talk about the cost that's harder to see: school culture and its impact on emotional readiness. Your child spends the majority of their waking hours at school, and that environment, socially, emotionally, and structurally, has lasting impact. Middle and high school are formative years. If students feel like a number in a crowd, constantly managing distractions or drama, it can wear them down, not just academically, but in terms of self-belief. We're not talking about protecting kids from every challenge. Hard things help kids grow. But growth requires structure, clarity, and connection, not chaos. Let's be honest, not all schools offer that. Some students spend so much energy managing the environment that they can't focus on what really matters: learning, building confidence, and growing into themselves. That's not about fragility, it's about capacity. When students are maxed out just trying to keep up socially or stay afloat emotionally, there's little energy left for real academic growth. So ask yourself, does your child's school environment strengthen them or just wear them out? Another hidden cost: missed opportunity. If your child has a passion, sports, robotics, music, entrepreneurship, does the school calendar leave space for them to pursue it? When students spend all day inside a rigid system and then come home to hours of homework, there's not much time left for what makes them feel alive. The cost here isn't just missed enrichment, it's missed identity development. Your child deserves time and support to explore who they are and what they love. Let's talk about teacher attention. Most public school teachers are deeply committed. They care, they work hard. But when you've got 25 to 30 students in a class, 6 periods in a day, it's nearly impossible to give meaningful one-to-one support. That's not the teacher's fault, it's the system. And that means if your child is struggling, it might be weeks before anyone notices. If they're ahead, they may be left to coast alone. And finally, perhaps the biggest cost: your child's love of learning. Kids are born curious. They ask questions, they explore, they want to know how the world works. But when curiosity is squeezed into a rigid schedule, test prep, and standardized expectations, school becomes a grind, not a spark. And once that spark fades, it's hard to reignite. Now, I'm not saying all public schools are failing or that your child can't thrive in one, but if we only compare education in terms of free versus private, we miss the bigger picture because every decision carries a cost. So here's the real question. What are you willing to pay? Is it your child's time, their energy, their emotional bandwidth, their belief in themselves. As a parent, your responsibility isn't just to pick the default, it's to ask hard questions and pursue what's best for your child long term. So what can you do? Start by paying attention, not just to grades, but to attitude, energy, and outlook. If your child seems checked out, frustrated, or just going through the motions, don't ignore it. Explore your options. Maybe they need a new school, maybe they just need targeted support. That's where Tenney Tutors comes in. We provide one-to-one tutoring with experienced private school teachers, not just homework help, but real academic coaching and mindset support. Whether your child is catching up or craving a challenge, we can help them re-engage, build confidence, and move forward with purpose. Visit TenneyTutors.com today to learn more. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Tenney. If this message spoke to you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with parents who need to hear this. Let's keep the conversation going, because our kids deserve more than good enough. They deserve a system that actually works for them.